All right, in this short video, I'm going to show you exactly how to solve all of your business problems by looking at them through 3 specific buckets. These are the same buckets I use to scale my gym business, scale cryotherapy business, and scale plenty of my other clients' businesses through using kind of a simple method of deduction, not adding complicated shit, just making it super easy to look through and actually understand where is the constraint. So remember that word because we're going to be using it a lot. All right, so when we're starting, a business is nothing but something to solve a problem, right? And to solve a problem, you need this, and that is an offer. So it does not matter whether you're an AIGC, which is the people that I work with, if you sell widgets on Shopify or you provide services. You need an offer, and for that offer, you need something called product or service market fit. Basically, it is a term that says, do you have something that people want that they are willing to pay for at a price that you make a profit? Okay, so now once we have an offer and we can validate that offer, we're gonna start the triangle, which is bucket number 2. I'm gonna add that there so it's there, and this is now gonna be bucket number 3, which we will get to. All right. So now, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about constraints. And all a constraint is something that stops something from growing. Think of a bottle and a bottleneck. You know, a wine bottle, it's got a large base, and then the neck is what stops it coming. So what we need to look at is the demand constraints. So can we get more clients or customers? Because there is only 3 ways to grow a business. You can get more clients, you can get those clients spending more, or you can get them spending more frequently. So that's different services, different things. So they're the 3 ways. And what we look at with this is your sales process. So that is kind of a overarching word, that describes what is your sales process. That starts from everything. So pieces of content like this, what are you putting out into the market in order to start that sales process? The way that I teach it is something called the 4D demand matrix. So 4D demand matrix. So it's not Neo in the Matrix, but what we want to look at is there's 4 ways, right? So you've got content, and you've got ads, and you have warm outreach, and cold outreach. That's easy. So you want to pick one of these and you want to own this system, and you want it to be repeatable and scalable to get you as many clients or customers as you want. If you don't have this, you'll never be able to alleviate this demand constraint, and that is what causes most businesses to fail, is they just literally are not, 1, offering the market something that they want, or 2, they can't consistently and repeatedly and scalably generate new clients. I kind of figured this out in my gym business, and we generated kind of 25, 30,000 leads back in the day where Facebook ads, kind of 10 years ago, where we were doing all this. We had a really simple sales process. We ran ads, we had a call, we had a consultation, they signed up for between $600 and $1,200. We put that money back into marketing, got more clients, 60-ish% stayed on a membership, and that is how we grew a business. We grew that business to a couple $100,000 a month in my early 20s because I figured this out, right? We had ads, we had content. I didn't do any of these things. And that is a key thing. You don't need to do all of them. You just need to become world-class at one. This one's probably going to be the easiest because that's people that know, like, and trust you, which makes the sales process a lot easier. Cold outreach, you can obviously scale that out. And what we want to do is we want to be able to have these systems that they're repeatable. So again, most businesses can't plan because they don't have a structure. So they can't really say, oh, we're going to do this, we can do that. We're not going to be able to, you need to be able to forecast how much effort and energy you're going to put into one of these squares of the demand matrix. And then be, okay, we can spend X amount of money on ads, or we can post X amount of pieces of content. It's going to generate us this many customers, clients, or whatever. Again, simplifying this, but this is how you want to look at it. Can you have a sales process that gets you clients on demand? I think Mark Cuban says that if you don't have a way to predictably get business, then you don't have a job, you have a hobby. This is how you do it. You pick one of these and you get really good at it. Cool. Now, what we want to do here is now we want to look at the other side. If you've done any economics, you might know what's coming, but then we have supply constraints. Supply constraints. Now, what are supply constraints? Well, generally, they can kind of boil down into 2 things. You got 1, people, And that is a lot to do with service businesses. So the gym business or any kind of service business, what happens if you are the founder, you're really good at the service, and then you can't get people to do the service as well as you. And the reason that is because it's systems, right? And what you need there is systems to create things that are repeatable, that are scalable, that you can get other people to do it. The reason McDonald's is where it is today is because they had a system on how to make burgers. They're not the best burger in the world, but you go to a McDonald's in Australia, or you go to a McDonald's in America, or you go to McDonald's anywhere in the fucking world, you're gonna get a pretty similar Big Mac or double quarter pounder if you're that way inclined. Now, what we wanna do here is be able to build these things so this supply constraint goes, right? So if you can, in our gym business, we generated like hundreds of leads a month, but we had a supply constraint because we didn't have the people to call them. And this was before AI, so that's kind of where this really gets alleviated now, is you want to be looking at everything first through an AI lens. And if you're new here, I kind of believe AI is the future and that you'll either be replaced by AI or you'll be replacing people with AI. That is it. It is binary. There's no other way around it. You can argue it as much as you want. I don't really care. I'm not here to be right or wrong. That's my thoughts, and I hope you do something with that, right? So now when we're looking at this, we need to have like the systems for the actual business. So that's, in the operations, which is like a blanket word, in order to how does the actual business operate, right? What are the systems? What are the things that are actually going to go on so that we can fulfill these alleviate these demand constraints, and then again offer the thing that people want? Because again, like I said at the start of the video, a offer is the ability to solve a problem for someone. The only reason someone will ever buy something is for a better tomorrow. We are buying states. You buy a bottle of water because you're thirsty. You buy a car because you think it will give you status. You'll buy a watch like this because it's a cool watch. That is why. So by doing this, the supply constraint and the demand constraints, these come into the offer, right? If it's you and a one-man band and you're promising the world and you're promising, say, to go into your client's house and fix everything and do all these things, and you're charging, $1,000 a month, well, you probably can't do that. So that is where, the supply constraint of the offer, and this is why they're intertwined, is that it's a constant balance of working between these things to go, okay, what is the offer? And then are we hitting a demand constraint? Which chances are you are. And then again, depending on what phase of the business is, whether it's revenue level or whether it's maturity of the actual business, you're going to be facing different constraints, and there will always be a constraint. And the best way to look at it is to find the constraint, alleviate the constraint, and actually get things moving so you can systematically grow, or you can become more profitable, which is AI is going to be able to let you do, or you can actually start growing the operation and the business can run without you, right? We don't get into business for glorified jobs. I know a lot of entrepreneurs, they're addicted to chaos, myself included. I'm working on that. But what we want to do is be able to use this diagram and use this lens to look at, okay, what is the actual constraint in the business? Why aren't we able to grow? Why are we stuck at the same revenue levels as we have been the last 3 years? And what can we actually do differently, right? Because, this is going to drive. And then once we get that, like once we've got the lead generation process, once we've got the sales process done, once we can convert attention into clients, then we can look at, okay, what is going on in the supply side of the business and what constraint do we need to fix in order to create more capacity and be able to grow more profitably, more efficiently, and allocate our capital better. So that is it. That is all that you need to know. If you're still watching this, well done. But this is how you want to look through your business. You want to get good at understanding, okay, what is the actual problem? What is the first principles problem that we're actually trying to solve? Whereas people will just do a lot of stupid shit and throw a lot of random strategies or tactics at it without actually kind of understanding what is it that the problem that we're solving. Do we actually have an offer that people want? And that becomes pretty evident. If you offer them something and they say yes or no, well, the no, you've got to find out why they said no. And that's really key on finding that product market fit. A lot of brands, they create these things and they think they want it, but fundamentally you are selling it to a person that has a problem. So that's why when you do things that in industries that you know a lot about, or you've actually experienced that problem, then you're going to be in a lot better position. Whereas if you got this really good idea, but no one wants it or no one will pay for it, well, then you don't really have product market fit or service market fit. Doesn't really matter. Whereas, what we do as AI GCs, everyone wants AI in their business because they know how to do it. But, there's an information arbitrage that means that they can't actually do it, or they don't have the tech or the computer understanding or whatever you want to call it. So they'll pay a consultant like us to go in and fix that. So that is, an MBA in a video. I don't know how long this video is, but if you want any help with this, there's a link below this video where you can jump on, speak with one of my team or myself, and we'll run through how we can actually apply this to your business. So that is it. Take this, run with it, and I will catch you in the next video.